And we are back. Another 120 minutes of fatherhood, funk and foolishness for the Dadless Old Extra Time show. I am, as always, Dan Flanagan, one of your hosts. I'm joined, as always, by the Penfold to my Danger Mouse, the Dempsey to my Makepeace, the Madge Ramsey to my Harold Bishop, the Bully Special Prize to my Jim Bowen, and the Chaz to my Dave.
Oh, lovely. Oh, thank you so much. You know, the best Chaz, I must have told you the best Chaz and Dave fact ever.
Go on.
They appear on The Real Slim Shady by...
I was just about to tell you that story.
It's one of my absolute favourite pop facts ever, because they were session musicians on the Labby Sifri song, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then he sampled that. And so technically, Eminem and Chaz and Dave.
Do you know why they hate it, though?
Why?
They were session musicians. So
Right.
they only got paid to come in and do the slot.
Oh, no.
They get no royalties whatsoever.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Yeah. So Labby Sifri, he actually lives, or did live, in a very small village in Wales, not a million miles away from my ex-in-laws, very comfortably, because obviously he got loads of royalties from Madness. And then, a shed load of royalties from Eminem.
And Chaz and Dave just got that like 50 quid or whatever they were bunged when they came to do the session musician.
And the royalties from Snooker Loopy.
Of course, yeah. No, let's not forget the lucrative Snooker Loopy money. Oh, it would be so fascinating. I just, it's not great for people's privacy or anything, but it would be fascinating to know exactly how much money people made off certain records. Because, and certain records in their back catalogue as well, because you get an idea that sometimes an artist will have had, some very big credible hits, but it'd be something random that they did that was used as like the theme tune to the holiday program or something that'll be the real money spinner for them.
Yeah, they get the residuals again and again and again, or they used to. Now I think with streaming, the rules have changed a little bit. But then there's also those stories where you get the kid who did the voice in the Lion King,
right,
of like Simba, and they said, right, you can have like 150 grand, or you can have royalties. And his mum, being very, very smart at the time, said, no, we'll take the royalties, thank you very much.
Yes.
This is Disney, they're going to milk it for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's quite comfortable.
Alec Guinness did something like that on Star Wars, didn't he? Not because he thought it was going to be huge, but I think because he thought I think he was trying to help them out by going, look, I won't take a big fee, but what I will take is like a percentage of worldwide royalties for Star Wars, which turned out to be one of the smartest decisions anyone has ever made.
Yeah. Oh, your likeness on a lunchbox. Oh, your likeness on a toy. Your likeness on a bike. Whatever you want, Sir Alex.
Oh my God. Can you even imagine?
I think the only thing we'd ever get royalties if somebody came up with a couple of like garden gnomes or gargoyles. That's the whole garden gnome range.
To scare the kids from your front door. Yeah, we could do that.
Do people still have garden gnomes?
We have one in our garden. We might not still have it in the garden. I don't know where it came from. We managed to get it, and then the kids thought it would be good actually in the garden, but it sort of moves around the garden and it's hidden, and it might not even still be there. I think they do. There's a house just around the corner from us.
Yeah.
That's got like a front yard, and it's absolutely full of little figurines and things, and you go and they've added some extra like Thundercats figures or something every so often, or it's really bizarre. Like they obviously put a lot of effort in, and whenever they go away, they'll bring back some more things to put in it.
Thinking, garden ornaments, but Thundercats? Oh, what?
Yeah, I think it's just whatever they find, really.
Yeah. Is that just like a shopping trolley and like a fridge freezer? Yeah. Are we looking at sort of Shameless here?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, no, actually, it's just a load of rubbish, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that you're constantly on the streets WhatsApp group, isn't it? Oh, my God. Oh, yes, there's a BJM shopping trolley there from 83.
We have got very active community Facebook groups, 2 of them, I think. and anything like that. The biggest thing at the moment is that there's a section up near the railway station.
Yeah.
There's like a turning circle for buses, but what it is it's like a wide bit of road, and the highways have obviously cordoned off some of the road by doing like a little white section, then with lines across it to basically say this is not road, this is like a junction you go around, but if buses turn here, that's absolutely fine. However, lots of people think it's like an overflow car park from the railway station. So you'll see a lot of people parking in those bits all the time, which means that buses can't turn.
Yeah.
But technically, it does kind of look like car parks on a slant. I can see how they've made that decision, but oh my goodness, the rage that brings in our village. Like, people are absolutely go crazy when it happens. Like,
Are there two? In fact, there's two separate Facebook groups. Are
Hmm.
they done by or run by individual gangs? Do they put out false propaganda about the other one?
Yeah, maybe they do. Like, perhaps that's what's happening. I don't know. I've not noticed myself being persuaded, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's all fake news.
Yeah,
That would
the
be.
co-op is closing down. No, it's not. The co-op's there, and they've just increased their lease for another 50 years.
I mean, that is the sort of thing that goes on a lot of people's Facebook groups, though, isn't it? Where we go, I've seen this, and I'm going to take from that this is happening, and someone else goes, no, it's not.
Yeah, I like the ones that are really things go. Oh yeah, I saw a foreign-looking gentleman in a white van.
Yeah,
Lock up your cats and your daughters and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then there was an outpouring of abuse. But we're not here to talk about politics, are we? We're funk, foolishness, and topical debate, which I suppose that was topical debate, but we don't want to go there, do we?
No, okay. There's some areas of topical debate that we'll probably just gloss over a little bit.
We'll just ignore them. It's not my problem. If it's not in the WhatsApp group or in the Facebook group for Ilkley, then it's not worth knowing about, is it?
And I mean, Ilkley is a fascinating place because I genuinely, I've made a little video about this sort of stuff that I do. That there was a post once. It's a very posh place in Yorkshire. It's like the highest concentration of millionaires outside of London, something like that. And there was once I did notice, because I'm on a Facebook group in Ilkley as well. I live just outside.
Yeah.
And it was my new au pair has arrived. Does anyone else have an au pair who'd like to meet my au pair so she can get to know the area? And that is not what you get in many places, that sort of chat.
It's kind, though.
It is kind. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah. And it's not competitive and combative or anything like that. But it's not really the sort of thing you expect. And then I made this video and I put that in it and people were laughing at it. And a bloke commented, he went, "You want to have a look this week? Someone's asking where they can get their harpsichord tuned." That's genuinely true. I was like, that's a joke, right? And I looked on it, I searched it, and genuinely someone had posted, "Does anyone know of any harpsichord tuners?" It's like, this isn't the real world.
It's not even a first world problem, is it?
It's not.
It's beyond that. But I suppose they have issues and challenges like the rest of us.
Yeah.
We are judging, which, is potentially bullying.
But have you ever played a detuned harpsichord? It's terrible, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why I've got a grey beard.
Right. Yeah. The stress.
Yeah. I've just got the accord bit. I haven't got the harp. It just broke. Actually, talking about harpsichord, shall we have a little bit of musical interlude?
Yeah, let's do it. Play some music.
Right. Let's have the Travelers All Stars, right? Which are a Mexican ska group.
Oh,
just come across, and obviously ska massive in the 70s and 80s, but it's still traveling the world, and different groups of young people across the world are getting into it and making bangers, and that made me so happy.
Let's have a listen.
Groovy, eh?
I loved it. You know what? For some reason, when you talked about that, I thought it was going to be like ska punk, which is great, and I quite like ska punk. But I love that sound. That kind of old school ska sound is absolutely what I love, and I was really pleased to hear that.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for the audio. But those of you watching the video, you'll see that it was Mexican young people dressed in proper old skinhead gear. Yeah, the monkey boots, the DMs. And if ever there was a youth cult, right, that gets completely misrepresented, right, it's skinheads. But the original skinheads were white and Asian and black working class kids. And so you see the video, and it's Mexican kids. So it's like they've understood this thing that started probably 40, 50 years ago, and they've got the true spirit of skinhead as opposed to the racist National Front kind of thing. And I thought that was quite beautiful as well.
Yeah, it's funny how those things can get co-opted by people, isn't it? And changed and lose the original intent. And it's nice that that's kind of lasting and living on in other places. That sound is so beautiful. There's I've been to see Scunthorpe United play at Chelsea a couple of times, and they have before the teams come out on the pitch, they play the Liquidator by the Harry J All Stars, which is one of the most beautiful, amazing bits of music that there's ever been. And that, like in a crowd full of 40,000 people and stuff, is such a big sound, and I can't think of any better music you could have. Like a major event like that. That was so well chosen. And it's just got that really amazing sound to it. And it really, that is a kind of inclusive type of thing, isn't it? That's like kind of a nod to all sorts of culture of West London and stuff throughout the past, and a sort of inclusive thing like this is the family, and this is who we are and stuff.
Yeah. Again, it's groovy. It's, it's hard to listen and not wiggle your bottom.
I very much did wiggle my bottom while I was listening.
Did you wiggle your bottom at the window? Because what the boys and girls at home don't know is you've got big gangs of construction workers outside your house at the moment. So I think you should have put on some kind of show for the heavy-duty geezers in their work boots. And it could have been like a weird reverse kind of Only Gyms account.
It could have been, yeah. Seeing if they'd liked it. This morning we woke up and there's one house over the road getting renovated. That's been going on a few weeks. Then right opposite, there is now some more work going on. There's been vehicles too big for our road coming and going with like shingle and gravel and things like that. And there's been drilling and digging and stuff. It's not been too bad since we started recording. I'm actually hopeful, and I think they might have knocked off for lunch now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hopeful that we'll get through as much of this as possible without in the background.
But we're watching you on the screen, right? But watching you watch something else through the window. And it's kind of like a weird version of Samuel L. Jackson in Do the Right Thing, where he pays a DJ and he DJs to the street and goes on about what's going on in the street. I think there is a very niche. If you were to stream that bit, right, just to those Facebook groups, just you talking about what you can see from the window, I think that is your golden moment.
Yeah, no, maybe it could be. It could be. I'd like to shout out, by the way, the member of the team who's been tasked with brushing the road free of mud. Bless him. Oh my God.
Was it? Well, I've just opened up the window because it's really bloody hot in here. And then I realised there's loads of construction going around the corner as well. So not to compete, but do I sweat uncomfortably, or do I open up the window and have some occasional noise?
I think occasional noise brings some atmosphere to the podcast, doesn't it?
We are keeping it real on the streets.
That's it.
Or the avenues.
If you're going to overheat, that might impair your performance. So let's keep you cool.
It has been said.
Yeah.
It has been. How is your performance? Talking about performance, are you firing on all cylinders at the moment? Or are you tired? Or are you jaded? What's going on, James?
I'm exhausted. We had a very busy weekend. So my wife sells vintage homeware and things like that around the country. And biggest fair of the year, basically, is Primrose Hill in London. And it's
That's where you met, wasn't it? Did you
That
go
is
back
where
to Lovers Lane?
it is where we met. So it was, you know, she normally has some help, and I normally have the kids at the weekend and do all the kids stuff, and she goes down there and has some help because it's like a bit of a hell of a load. She takes a lot of stuff, and it's so busy that it needs two people like taking money, wrapping things up, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
None of her helpers could do it. And we also thought she'd also managed to get quite a bit of stock, so we could take 2 vehicles down there. So I got roped in to help. So on the Friday, it was nice because we went down to St Albans and stayed with some good friends of ours from back in the day we've not seen for a while. So that was really lovely. Then we had to get up at 5 o'clock to drive into Primrose Hill, park up, because you need to find a parking space close enough to lug everything into the venue.
Yeah.
Then we had an hour.
Especially you're disabled, you're poorly toes.
I've got a broken toe, everybody. It is literally broken. I think last time I was on this, I talked about how I'd hurt my toe and I feared it was broken. The next day I went to minor injuries and they said, yeah, that's
This is not minor, this is major. We just launched a crowdfunder.
Yeah. However, there's nothing you can do. Just rest it. So if by resting they meant, you know, spending the weekend lugging vintage around, then yeah, great. But also it's impossible. Like, it's just impossible. Like they said the same when I hurt my hamstring just before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, just rest it. And it's like, well, you can't really, because you've got to do stuff. I'll just keep it elevated. Well, yeah, I'm sure all my clients will be delighted if I go, I couldn't get any work today because I was lying down, elevating my leg.
You can still type, surely, though. I can understand why you can't maybe travel the length and breadth of the kingdom, you know, throwing out 1940s and 50s vases, but you could still, even if it's voice to type, that's just a poor excuse.
Yeah, but with my accent, it gets it all over the place. I'm just trying to think. I'm going to try and elevate my leg now.
Yeah.
Same leg as well, on which I suppose I could type like that. I think I'd get cramp in my thigh, though.
Again, this should be safe for your only gyms.
Yeah.
If put your left step. If we all get together and, you know, put a gold badge on there, will you put your right leg up as well?
Anyone want to see an elevated leg? But yeah, so we did that on Saturday. We did get to go out before the fair opened and go up Primrose Hill and watch the sun rise over London, which is a beautiful place to go to see that. And sort of reminisce about being around there, and also wondering how we ever afforded to eat anything because everything's so expensive.
It's a very beautiful part of London, but it is very, very wealthy, isn't it?
Oh yeah. We looked in an estate agent's window, which I don't know if you do. Anytime I go to any new place, always look in. Yeah, there was a house for £10.6 million.
And it was a 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, it's actually smaller than our house in Yorkshire.
Yeah. It was actually a bedsit.
Yeah, that's it. And that, you know, that was cheap. So yeah, it's outrageously posh and well to do, but it's, you know, it's lovely. And we had a very nice time. We had a very successful fair, but then we had to come back Saturday night and then we had a fair in Leeds the next day.
That's a long old slap as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So
because it's you're in front of the public, being high energy and stuff like that, people pleasing, that zaps the old batteries. Then have to get back in the car, pack up, get back in the car, travel. What is it? Number 3-4 hours up the motorway.
Should have been 4 hours. There was an accident on the M1, so we were stuck for an hour on the M1 near Barnsley, which we were already back in Yorkshire, and it was like, oh, we're so close, but yet so far. So it took 5 hours. Yeah, went to sleep, got up the next day, went to Leeds, which is almost the sort of complete opposite type of place, because that part of Leeds is where I lived when I was a student.
Yeah.
And, you know, student areas of towns and cities are rarely the most salubrious. I don't really like. It's a place called Hyde Park, which is, you know, it's lovely. There's lots of atmospheres, lots of community. But for your 10.3 or 10.6 million or whatever it is, you could probably buy the entire postcode for that. And it was very different, but also another very successful fair, a long day. Got back last night and we were absolutely shot to pieces. just cream crack.
The kids been with the grandparents to take it.
Yeah, so
they've just been joining the street gangs and glue sniffers because you've just like gone, well, we're going to London for the weekend. There is a pizza in the freezer. Don't try and kill each other.
Yeah, they're old enough to do that. I can't wait till they're old enough to do that. I think, they're not far off, maybe not overnight yet, but, a few years they'll be able to do it. There was the grandparents. So my parents had to because at first they were like, "Oh, we might take them back to ours," and then I had to show them the schedule for football training, football matches, and other associated kid things over the weekend. It's like, no, you're gonna have to stay here, unfortunately. But they did get to see it. They got to see my son score 4 goals yesterday for his team, which I'm absolutely gutted that I missed because he's done well this season. He scored quite a few, but 4 in one game was quite remarkable. Although the joy of that is that at the start of the season, my dad said that for any goals he scored over 8 in the season, he would give him and his sister £1 each. So he'd got to the 8. I think he was on 9 or 10 before Sunday, and cost my dad £8 by scoring those 4 goals, which was quite remarkable.
Isn't it a bit unfair that your daughter's just hanging on, his coattails? She's getting cash for doing nothing.
She was going to get some money for scoring goals in her football team.
Oh, okay.
But she tends to be in goal or in defence. So,
she's
so
like a young Chopper Harris.
It's basically she is. Yeah, that's it. Takes them out, no questions. So she's getting that, but she is living off his goals, but it's a slightly different thing. She's not going to score many goals, maybe, and also it's kids football, so there's never. I was going to say she could get money for not letting any in, but kids football is always like 10, 12 or something like that, isn't it?
112. We stopped counting because kids are going to end up in therapy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely demolished.
Well, sometimes you do that on the Thursday night, play with a load of dads football, and sometimes we have to stop counting there for everyone's fragile egos as well. Or also,
and you're poorly toe. So are you just turning up for like cheerleading now? Or what?
I've not been for the last couple of weeks, and it's probably
quite depressing, isn't it?
It's really annoying, and I can't run as well. It's the same, all the same issues I had when I did my hamstring. Is that I love running and I love that football on a Thursday, and I can't do either. It's so annoying.
But it's not, I suppose, not just the sport though. It's the camaraderie around it, isn't it? It's having that break in your calendar where you can just go and run about, be daft, unload, vent, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
That's your time, and now you can't. So it's not only you are sort of maybe suffering from the effects of not having the amount of endorphins rushing through you from the physical exercise, but you're missing the camaraderie and not to make you feel really shit about this.
No, it is a nice thing. It's a nice way to spend like a Thursday evening to go and then have a laugh and take it very seriously, obviously. Right.
Then you have a curry and 12 pints afterwards.
Yeah, exactly, and that's as all top sports people do. We know that.
We've got a coach, we've got a nutritionist. Yeah, he's taking on a Bengal tiger again.
We didn't say he was a good nutritionist.
But some of the side effects of those curries will make you run faster.
True, good point. Yeah, no, exactly. So
it's a balance. It's a balance. But yes, it's also though, isn't it? Because you're sort of working all through the week, and then if you're working weekends as well, and then you're back into another week, there is no sort of let off of the grind being parents, is it sometimes?
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't intend to do that weekend many times again. But so that's it is. It's you do sometimes feel that there's no like space to just stop and do something for yourself, don't you? Which I think I should do, seeing as I'm freelance as well.
Yeah,
I should be able to just go. I'm just going to go and have a walk this afternoon, and that's it.
You need to put it in your diary and make it a non-negotiable. Because you have your schedule and you put everything in there. But actually, like I use Google Calendars. So rather than going 9 to 5, you can shade bits out. So you go, today I'm going to go 11 till 3 or whatever. And you book those things in. So, my Wednesday morning is yoga with the old folks. I don't come into here till 11. And I thought, oh, I can't, I'm going to miss that email. No. So no, because I'll be otherwise stuck in front of the desk for hours on end. I need to go and learn how to stretch properly.
Yeah.
So the only time I can do it is a Wednesday. So that is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, it has to happen. Yeah, that it's important to do that, isn't it? It's important to go. It would be very easy to go, I can't do it this week because I've got whatever. But actually, yeah, if you have that out there, then everything else has to fit around that.
Yeah.
Rather than it kind
you
of
have to be at a certain place to pick the kids up, right? That's a non-negotiable. Unless you and Jill and you just bugger off for the weekend. And the kids
exactly.
But yeah, that's a non-negotiable. But it's I suppose, actually, I had a conversation with somebody about this recently. And so I struggle to give myself permission, right, to do stuff because I feel guilty if I'm not working or doing something productive. And I said, just get rid of that word permission. You do not need permission.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to do it or you're not. Because if somebody, if we were having this conversation, you go, oh, I need a bit of time. I go, right, Jim, change your diary around, make it non-negotiable. But me saying that to myself, yeah, but there's that thing, and I've got to do that as well. And no, just remove permission. This is what I want to do. Design the life that you want.
Yeah, no, it's good. That is, it's something we could all learn, should put in place.
Yeah, but it's easy to say no, and it's easy to put up those boundaries. So actually, on Sunday morning, we did one of the friend of the show's Tyler Slade's Beat the Sunshine sessions. So there were 16 of us up at 4:45 on the beach for 5:30, pitch black. Right? They went off for a run. I went the other way and just had a nice walk, listening to a lovely chill out mix, and it's beautiful. And then we jumped in the sea. I mean, proper primal scheming because it was cold.
Yeah, I bet.
It was I don't think I've guttural primal screamed like that in donkey's years because nobody was listening and nobody cared. It was and I realized, how therapeutic is that?
Yeah,
Get all the stress and the anger and the the worries about being a grown up and just scream at the sea, or you'll get scream at the moors.
Yeah, because you don't get that opportunity, do you? But
people think you're odd or that you're in some kind of danger.
Yeah.
Call the police. There's somebody being attacked by a gang of werewolves on the moor yet again. No, it's just me. I'm really fed up about having a poorly toe. I just need to get this thing. But yeah, it was beautiful because we went in the sauna, jumped in the sea, and then sat round and had a bit of breakfast together. And then you're back home by 8:30.
Brilliant. Done.
Yeah. So for those that obviously do have young kids, trying to find time for themselves, very difficult. Okay. You're just going to have a really early night and get up a few hours early. But I slept like a baby last night. I was in bed for 8:30, zonked out, and I really struggle with sleep. So I was like, oh, this has worked. Right. I'm now going to have to get up at 5 a.m. every morning for, a 5-mile hike to be able to sleep. So I'm trying to find some middle ground with that.
Yeah. Hopefully there's a different mechanism as well. Hopefully that's not the only one that works.
No, but it was beautiful. And being in the sea or on the beach, seeing the sunrise, what you don't know is until you're right in front of it, is how quickly the sun does rise.
Right, yeah.
Then you realise how inconsequential you are, because the fact that it is rising so quickly is because the earth is spinning so bleeding fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, woo! And it's like out of darkness, and literally 10 minutes later, there's this big ball of fire right in front of you. And Mother Nature is an incredible thing, but do you take the time to actually appreciate it?
No, never. Very rarely. Very rarely. Probably should.
Yeah, if you're too busy moaning about your feet, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I do like to whinge. It's nice. Good fun.
Musical interlude?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Can we have some Skunk and Nancy?
Yes, not heard that sentence since the 1990s, but yeah.
Indeed. She, or they rather, are an absolute banger. But the band have got back together and brought out some new material. And this is one called An Artist is an Artist. And if you listen to the lyrics as a slightly creative middle-aged person, it will resonate as well as just being an absolute banger of a tune.
Zimmer frame and leaf, put down her pen, put on a hat because I've met her boss. An artist is an artist to a heart and all his arteries clog up and wipe themselves, they unsuspend themselves. Cause an artist is an artist, till death do us depart us, till the brain is a cessation of its function. An artist is an artist. 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 So go figure it out. An artist is an artist. When an artist is an artist, and they don't stop being an artist cause of you, you know. They don't do all you say, pick up their life and die away, cause they think all your little views are educational. There are days when they suspend ideas and resonance begins to wear upon a tired mind, and they feel bad, of course. And then they read your shit and lose the fucking will to live, cause your stupidity is raised above their principles. An artist is an artist. 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 So go figure it out. Go figure it out. Go figure it out. An artist is an artist. An artist is an artist without followers or fighters, without comments, without views, without consequence. They ain't here for your pleasure, changing up like British weather, cause today you don't like mayonnaise or chips again. And what I'm here is shit, not fight, so then get fucking butterflies. I didn't hang around to be my own echo. Cause an artist is an artist when they wanna be an artist. Cause an narcissist an artist, it's beautiful. An artist is an artist. An artist is an artist. An artist is an artist. Oh, an artist is an artist. Yeah, 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 artist is an artist. So go figure it out. And go figure it out. And go figure it out. Go figure.
Ooh,
Banger, innit?
absolute banger. Really is. Enjoyed that very much.
Have it loud, have it angry, have it passionate. But an artist is an artist. So, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was at where we're based here in Worthing. It's a lovely little studio on top of an art gallery, surrounded by other creatives. And they had an event a couple of weeks ago because of some funding issues, as how us as a creative community can come together and support. And somebody made the point. So when somebody asks you what you do, like you say one thing, change the question. Actually, what do you make?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Because there's that question, what do you do? Somebody will say whatever, and then you'll make a judgment call on that, where they fit in society, how useful are, what their bank balance might be, etc. What do I make? Yeah, what do you make? Well, I make people happy. I bring people together, right? I make films, I make shows. And as an artist, or as a grown-up, I suppose, unless you are very talented or very, very fortunate to make an ongoing, reasonable living from your art, you have to sustain paying the bills by doing another role. And that's what you're judged on.
Right. Yeah, no, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's very much kind of, that question is very much aimed at, what do you do to actually live rather than what do you do to enrich your life, or what do you do to, when I say to live, I mean, for the very basics of living. Right? What do you do in order to be nourished in your soul is a very different type of question, isn't it?
Or add value to the community,
Mm-hmm.
or put it out here to make the world a slightly prettier or better sounding or funkier place. But if you try doing it in conversation, right? So I go to a few like networking events, part of it, and it brings up a completely different side to people as well, rather than, oh, that's Brian. Brian's an accountant. Well, I'm not going anywhere near that because that just sounds dull.
Yeah.
Actually, mate. Well, actually, I've got a home recording studio and I do Japanese synth pop. Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, tell me more about that, Brian.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing. There's only so many work-related lines of inquiry, aren't there? Unless you happen to find someone who does something absolutely fascinating as a job that you've never really understood. There's only so many. Oh, you're a vet. Is it sad when the animals die? Yeah, of course it. But because we kind of know a lot about a lot of jobs, really, because we interact with them.
Or we have stereotypical views of what those jobs entail.
Exactly. But there are hobbies and pastimes and passions and projects and all sorts of things that you don't know about. I always find it fascinating because Jill, my wife, she retired from roller derby, but she played it for a long time, and that's always an interesting conversation because there's a really tight-knit, amazing community of people who do that all the time. But outside of that, people just don't know what it is. So that is always a fascinating line of inquiry or a fascinating conversation, because it's like, oh, there's this thing and it's like got a whole subculture and they do it all over and there's a World Cup happening and, and it's, so that's more, more interesting, I guess, than finding out someone works in a bank, which, they may have some good stories about or not. But
it's also what brings those people together, because they probably outside of the roller derby community, like they do very different things.
Yeah.
So actually, what's the trigger point? What's the thing that puts the fire in the belly that makes you get up on a Saturday and Sunday morning, skate around and bash the hell out of strangers? Actually, it's really good therapy because I've got anger issues. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of teachers and a lot of like social workers and stuff.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people who are like, I guess when your working week is very much kind of like keeping everything in, then I guess
kind and gentle parenting. No, I want to go there and kick some sod in the head.
Yes.
Yeah. Primal screaming as well, though, isn't it? That's getting it out there.
Yeah, getting it out.
Yeah. That was Nancy. Yeah. Big on the hairdos is asking.
Yeah, no, exactly. It did remind me that it must be probably this year 30 years since I saw them live, which is an absolute. I know we talk about the passage of time a lot on this.
Yeah.
That really
good old days.
The good old days. But that was a great time, though. The mid-90s was absolutely brilliant for going to see bands and stuff. And I know that people now, a lot of people look back and try and quantify how good the bands of Britpop were, but it's missing the point. Some of them were great, some of them were terrible, but it was more about, once again, the community and the atmosphere and the feeling behind it than it was, oh, this band are technically a brilliant band. And Spookanansi were, and I think they probably still stand up as being a band that were very talented and remain to be. There were some others that became big that were awful.
Just menswear.
Well, exactly. I didn't like to say.
Signed because they looked really cool.
Yeah.
Great for our American listeners again. Welcome to the UK 35 years ago.
You don't think menswear were big in America? Is that what you're saying? You don't think they broke the market?
They might not, but there is with those 30th anniversaries. There's obviously a lot more bands going, reforming. Maybe because it's a nice bit of dollar for the pension pot, or they actually might just want to get back out on the road. So I don't know, Pulp are back, aren't they?
Yeah,
So
indeed.
it's got a series of dates, which was very exciting, and they did it in a really lovely way, rather than the Gallagher brothers, who broke the internet and, you know, charged people hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds to go to a gig. So it looks quite reasonable. So you're going, aren't you?
I'm going to go and see them at Tramlines. We didn't get any of the other dates; they didn't really work. But I'm going to go and see them at the Tramlines Festival in a few weeks in Sheffield. Well, a few months actually. Which is going to be really exciting because that's like their homecoming gig. So they did a tour a couple of years ago, and I saw them in Finsbury Park in London, and that was really nice. And it was one of those things where it was like they basically said this is an encore, so you're not got any expectations that they're going to play for an hour and a half and 50 minutes of it is going to be experimental new material.
Yeah.
It's like, we are coming back, and when we come back, we're going to play some absolute bangers. Not necessarily the big hits only.
Yeah.
But songs that you will know and songs that you will like and enjoy and have a great time. And it was a real party that time. So I'm looking forward to seeing them again in Sheffield.
But there's a line now, I suppose, of being the band and the art as artists, you know, wanting to do different materials. Because if you're out night after night doing the same 3 songs, that can be repetitive as hell. But as a punter, you only want to go and hear those 3 songs.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance. And I noticed Vernon Kay, who does the daytime show on Radio 2, quite often talks about this when a band comes back together or they release a new album and it sort of sounds like their previous sound. He gets really excited and he's like, oh, this is the band, you know, they've come back and they sound like themselves. More bands should do that. It's, you know, they don't want bands going off and doing their own thing. And it's like, I can see how that's good, but bands have to develop. They have to do new things. I can see how it's nice if you really like an album, you want another album that's similar, but they're made by creative people, and creative people tend not to want to do the same things over and over again. Yeah. So I can certainly see, like, you take a band like the Arctic Monkeys. Now, I loved their first couple of albums, and then they went off on sort of a different trajectory, and they've done a few different things. You know, they did the sort of Queens of the Stone Age rock thing, and they've done the sort of lounge thing, and some I like more than others, but I don't blame them for doing it because, you know, they're in a band and they're creative people and they want to try new things and try stuff. And yeah, it'd be great if they did, you know, 15 albums like the first one, but they would be probably absolutely sick of it by 3 or 4 and want to just throw in the towel. So you've got to understand, I can see why there is a pressure. People want bands to just do the same thing they've always done, but I also see why that's a terrible idea for creative people.
Yeah, well, it's to pay the bills, isn't it? As opposed to being like. So I always, what was it, End of the Century, the Blur documentary that came out last year or whatever, about their reforming, but they obviously very big, and then he went off and did Gorillaz and all this other stuff, and really, you know, you could see all these different influences coming in and making up very, very good music, just in a very different style. And it's like, how lovely it must be to have the financial security. Actually, I am going to do art. Yeah. And it might work, it might not, but, you know, I booked a studio or stuff like that. Incredibly refreshing without the normal grown-up pressures. You've got to do this because this will pay the bills. So just shut up. Don't do what you want to do. Do what the punters say. You know, like another Boyzone reunion.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that is the you know, I have been watching that documentary. It's called No Matter What. And yeah, you see the machinations of the music industry there, don't you? Going, so you must be doing this song. We need a lead singer. We need you to do that. You're the person who'll do that. So you're going to do that. We need this type of song. You can't do what you want because the Mikey from Boyzone, it's the one that maybe people don't remember as much. He was very much a sort of background character. He was musical. He wrote songs and he had a lot more sort of to say. But
Yeah.
obviously he was told, look, you're not quite the pretty boy like Ronan, so just step back, keep quiet. We're doing covers of Osmond's songs, and
Yeah.
we're doing very tightly controlled pop tunes. You know, you want to do that after Boyzone, you go off and do what you want to do, but you can't, you know, while you're in this machine. And
Yeah, and that's what it is, isn't it? It is literally a cash cow. Work these young boys from working class backgrounds as hard. And you go, oh, well, it can't be that hard. You're traveling the world and you're in all these hotels. But seeing Matt, those boys they were grafted. They were literally milked like a Jersey cow, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it. And you're up and you're out doing promo and stuff. And, you know, and I know the temptation is for people to go, well, it's not real work, is it? You're just prancing around and you see that. But it is, it's mentally taxing. And if you're doing like 20 interviews a day, that's a lot of talking, a lot of concentrating. You have to concentrate because you're in a boy band and you've got an image to that you need to promote. You can't say anything dodgy. You can't let your mind fall out of focus. Concentrating on what you're saying for hours and hours a day is difficult. It's mentally draining. And then you've got the performances and things like that as well.
Yeah, I was thinking also, if you go, it's not real work. Yeah, but if you do real work, as you know, right, you can leave that job and go down the pub, right, and just do what you want. They couldn't leave the hotel room. They couldn't do anything because people were always after them, or you know, the paparazzi were constantly tracking their every move, and it's a three-parter, isn't it, that documentary? So it's quite, there's a lot of ups, but some quite painful downs as well. And you look back at the world and how the press was at that time, and it's not a nice thing, is it?
No, and that was fed from inside as well. From, you know, and Louis Walsh is very brazen about what he did, about lies that he told to get stories in, and things that he did to kind of hide stories, and you know, and he seems to have no problem with it. I think a lot of people think probably differently about how he, as the manager, ran things and exploited them, and managed to. And that's the thing, you know, all the work they were doing was then to keep the publicity and keep them in the press and keep them in the public focus, which then meant they could go out even less and do, you know, they could have less time off, really. And it is a machine.
Didn't love who they wanted to love, basically.
Yeah, well, I know, and that's the thing, isn't it? And it really is. It's like everything is designed to just turn these people into absolute icons that gives them absolutely no privacy or downtime at all. And it's what a terrible way to live. And what I do like, though, is that you do get them talking about, oh, you know, it was good, this was good fun, this bit was great, we enjoyed this. So it's not like they're suddenly going, everything was terrible.
Yeah,
they do acknowledge there were some good parts to it, but also you need to understand how difficult and how draining and how destructive it was as well.
Yeah, the egos and the machine and what you're being fed mentally, emotionally. I think with the Stephen Gately part of it, for him, especially as a young man, having to cloud or cover his sexuality, right? That pressure continuously. But then when the story broke, there's that lovely scene and they're going, oh, yeah, we thought this is the end. Yeah, the fans will hate us and stuff like that. But actually they do the gig, and the response from, it's predominantly a female crowd, obviously, because they're a boy band, but the outpouring of support and for him was really beautiful. So this, just because you're gay does not mean it's the end of it, but that is almost the story that you have been forced into accepting. Rather go, well, gay, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so, and it was that whole industry to stop that news coming out, wasn't it? You know, and there'd be stories put in the paper about anytime he was pictured anywhere near another female celebrity, it was like they're dating, and they you know, and Louis Walsh would tell the press that, and the press would go, oh yeah, Stephen Gately's girlfriend, and and it's so much effort to stop someone living their true life when actually in the end no one was that bothered about it.
That's been going on for decades, isn't it? You look at Hollywood, Rock Hudson, or etc., etc., etc. They would, you know, let's say any time they were near a woman, that would be the story. But the pressure of it, rather than going, actually, I just really quite like watching him. I like the stuff he produces. I like the sound of his voice. Don't matter.
No, exactly.
It's weird though. We can look back now through very different eyes. But hopefully we're more intelligent, emotional now.
I wonder if it is still going on there. And it may well be. And in 20 years we'll have found out all sorts of things that people were trying to hide that they didn't really need to, or they shouldn't have needed to.
I think it's also gone the other way now, because I don't see being gay as a story, being trans as a story, it's like, oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the Oakley Facebook group that might come up in arms about it.
Well, they're too busy on harpsichords at the moment. Harpsichords and au pairs is where they're at. So they're yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's
it. Musical interlude?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we have then, please, a bit of Ren? So, as regular listeners, viewers might know, Ren, Brighton-based artist, absolutely incredible, who doesn't give Jim and I the credit that we deserve for breaking him when we first played one of his songs a year and a half ago. He's just gone off and got a couple of million subscribers on YouTube and done what he wants, but doesn't remember we were there first. He's relying on his talent. How dare he? But all of that aside, he is a banging artist, and it's really nice to see somebody that just does almost whatever they want.
Yeah, except give credit to the people who definitely are behind.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do that, does he?
No, I suppose not.
Yeah, we're yesterday's news. We're fish and chip rappers. Like, you were there first, guys. I only had 1.5 million viewers when you came along.
Yeah.
I was on the streets.
Yeah,
you saw something in me. You invested your time and your energy and your support.
And now I'm going to forget you.
Yeah, didn't do that, did you, Ren? But we still love you anyway.
the city. We were saying that you leave before we go.